Am I the a-hole for telling my ex's parents why we broke up and her kid is not mine? Original post. Hello. English is not my first language, so I am sorry. I, 24 male, used to think that I had a great relationship with my girlfriend, 26 female. We were together for 8 years and had a long-distance relationship back in 2020 because of the pandemic. I even had a ring ordered for her. I was ready to propose. She always said to me that we had to wait until marriage. So the only thing we did was kiss and hug. The most we did was oral. We went to a party last Saturday and we were late. I was an hour early, around 5 p.m. When I arrived at her house and waited until nearly 6 p.m., she had to put on all that makeup and even wore a revealing dress. We got into an argument about it. She said I was insecure if I wouldn't let her dress the way she wanted. I just said she either changed her dress or I would go to the party on my own without her. Her dad said, "Listen to me and don't look like a hooker." Then she changed her dress. It was more formal. I don't know how to describe it, but before she changed her dress, it looked more like a nightgown than a dress. We went to the party. It was nice. It was our friend group. The party was for her best friend's birthday. We drank a little. Then a presentation about her best friend was shown. The slideshow started, and a few slides in, I saw a video of her best friend twerking on a foreigner's lap. She covered my eyes, and I asked why. But then my friend pointed at the back of the video. It was my girlfriend kissing another man. Not just kissing, but he was groping her while she sat on top of him. I asked when the video was taken or if it was AI. Her best friend said it was last March. For context, March is my birth month. She did not attend my birthday because her best friend had scheduled a 2-week trip to Japan. After that trip, she love-bombed me with gifts, going to my house to cook and clean. I stood up, gave her money for a ride home, then apologized to our friends for leaving early. I did not look back, just went to my car and left. Currently, I am not replying to any of her calls or texts. She even had my family talk to me, saying she made a mistake. I said I am fine, just thinking. The ring arrived this Wednesday. I am not sure if I even want to propose anymore, and I did not tell anyone from her family. I heard from the group chat that my girlfriend, or possibly ex, is not talking to anyone from the party and that she left the chat. Right now, her last message was a threat about ending herself if I don't reply. I replied that I need more time to think. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Don't reply. She cheated on you and never would have told you. You process your emotions how you choose to, but you don't have to contact her unless you want to. It's on her to deal with the shame of being a cheater, and one that was so publicly revealed. At least she can't try to spin the narrative since her own friends saw what she did. Not the a-hole. You're being an a-hole to yourself because you saw with your own eyes how your girlfriend acts when you're not around. Not to mention you waited 8 years for her just to get cheated on, and in your birthday month too. Who knows how many times she's done this already? Even her own friend felt bad for you and decided to spill everything. Maybe everyone else already knew and you were the only one in the dark. What more do you need to think about to realize your girlfriend is not someone you can trust? Not the a-hole. Stay strong. Keep your head up. Her manipulation strategy reveals her character. Now for the update. So this is an update of my last post. Quick recap. My friend showed me photos and videos of my ex cheating in Japan during her girls' trip in my birth month, last March. You can read it on my profile if you want. She tried to contact me the last few days until 2 days ago, then she stopped. So earlier today, she came to my house with her parents and dropped a bomb. She is pregnant, and her parents were so happy, because according to them, they will have their first grandbaby. I asked my ex if she hadn't told them. Her parents asked, "Told us what?" I told them everything, from her telling me to wait until marriage, to the time she cheated in Japan, to how our friends showed me her affair, and even her threats of ending herself. Her mom started being hysterical. She told me I was lying and asked if I wasn't the father, then who was it? I told them to ask her, but she doubled down and said I was the only one she had sex with. I said we never had sex and told her I was not the father. I asked how many months the baby was. She said 5 months, almost 6. I told them she got pregnant in March, the month she went to Japan. I felt bad for the looks her parents gave her. They looked so disappointed and ashamed. Her father then stood up and asked her who the real father was. She kept insisting it was me, until her mother looked at her and said, "Stop digging a bigger hole." She admitted she didn't know, and even said it was a one-time thing, claiming she was a virgin before and after Japan. My brother finally had enough and said, "Who in the world is she joking with? Are the three wise men returning?" She told us it was the truth and started spouting nonsense, insisting it was real. I just told her to get a DNA test. She just said, "Sure," and walked away. Her dad just sighed and apologized for his daughter. Her mom looked at me and said she believes me and that she will talk to her daughter. I told them I know the kid is not mine, so I am not afraid. They said they believe me and will not ask me to support the child during the pregnancy. They just want me to relax and look for DNA testing clinics. I said I will, and they told me that if the kid is not mine, they will reimburse me the cash that is needed. Right now, I am researching DNA testing clinics here in my country to see if it's possible to do it before the child is born. However, my ex posted something online about deadbeat fathers and how some parents will believe others but not their own daughter. Not the a-hole, obviously. Look into non-invasive prenatal paternity testing. It is completely safe, only requiring a blood sample from the mother and a cheek swab from you. No need for any drama here. Just get the test, prove you're not the father, then move on with your life. Really? I will try to search more about it. Thank you very much. Good luck to you. I saw in your other comment that you feel bad for her, and I understand. She made a terrible choice that will have permanent consequences on her life. But her response to this situation is quite revealing. She could accept her mistake with grace and humility. Instead, she is responding with hostility, revealing her true character. In a way, she did you a favor. This is not a woman you want to share a life with. The good news is that the paternity test will solve everything. She can vague post all she likes on social media. If any flying monkeys try to come after you, then all you'll need to do is announce the paternity test results, and that your ex cheated, hence you broke up. But good luck to her finding whoever she slept with. They'd be hard-pressed to argue with that. Thanks. I am still searching for some clinics near me. I know the kid is not mine. None of her friends are even siding with her. I feel bad for her. I believe prenatal DNA testing is possible, but needs the consent of the mother, blood work. If your ex wants to drag out the drama, you may need to wait until the baby is born. She sounds like she needs a big reality check. If no one believes her and she's still sticking to her stupid story, that says it all. Yup, she is still sticking with her story and no one believes her. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to be friends with my ex-wife? My 37 male ex-wife, 35 female, thinks we should still be friends after our divorce. About 6 months ago, she told me she wanted a divorce, and just under 4 months ago, it was finalized. It was very amicable. When we first started the process, she said she thought we could still be really good friends. She even suggested we didn't need custody arrangements because we could just handle things together. Her reasoning was that we didn't have major issues. We just grew apart. I agreed, though I blamed her more for that. She said the marriage had run its course, that she still loved me as a person, but we both needed change. I bring this up because it's the basis for why she thinks we can go back to being close friends, like before we started dating 15 years ago. During the divorce, she sent me a few friendly messages that I gave short replies to. After it was finalized, she invited me to hang out on a night our son was at a friend's house. I told her directly I didn't want to be friends. She asked if that's why I had unfollowed her on social media, and I said yes. When she asked why, I told her I didn't want to watch her date other people. She insisted dating was far from her mind, and she wouldn't even consider it for at least a year. I didn't believe that. I told her she's attractive, guys will pursue her, and she doesn't like being alone. She said I was being ridiculous, and that I could just as easily find someone new, but I told her it wouldn't be as easy for me. I also said when she has a boyfriend, I don't need the reminder that someone else is getting what I wanted for years. She apologized a little, but said she thought I just needed time and eventually we'd be good friends. Fast forward to this past Saturday, I ran into her at the store with her new boyfriend. She introduced him, I said hi and left quickly. Later, I checked her socials, unblocked her briefly, and saw they've been dating about 6 weeks. I reblocked her. She texted me asking why I was rude at the store. I told her this was exactly why I didn't want to be friends. She snapped, saying life goes on. There's no reason we can't have a platonic relationship, that it would be better for our son, and that I'm making things tense for no reason. I didn't respond, but now I feel guilty. I still care about her, but I don't want to watch her move on, hear about her new relationship, or pretend I'm fine with it. Does that make me the a-hole? Or is it reasonable that I don't want to be friends after everything? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Turn all your energy into co-parenting for your son's sake. I think it's important to still have a relationship with your ex, but not a friendship. Friendly? Sure. I don't think you have to make any grand declaration that this will be your approach. Just hard to ignore her for anything other than stuff to do with your son. Set your own boundaries and stick to them. You don't owe her anything other than a cooperative co-parenting relationship. And that's as much for your son as anyone. This is where I want to be. I don't think we have to do Christmas or his birthdays together. I think when the major events come down the line, we can all be mature and friendly, enjoying his sports, graduation one day, major events, but we don't need to be friends. She seems to think we should be able to pick up where we left off before we went on that first date back in 2010. It's had me pulling my hair out thinking I was the weird one. Sounds like you have the right mindset. Now just do it. She has no right to tell you what to do or how to feel anymore. Tell her you are committed to being a rock star co-parent for your son, but other than that, you aren't interested. It may hurt her feelings, but she needs a reality check. This sounds a lot like my divorce about 8 years ago. My wife had emotionally checked out of our marriage long before the divorce, so she was happier than I was about everything at the start. She tried to be my friend after, and was used to me worrying about her emotions. I started only replying to things about our daughter or barely engaging in anything else. She got the point eventually. We are both remarried now and are friendly. We even all go out to eat for my daughter's birthday, get together for pictures before a formal dance, etc. But we aren't friends. Yes, I see you've been through it. I'm sure it will get there. I don't know why she pushes so hard. Maybe it's guilt? She has acknowledged that she got way too comfortable in our relationship. She said she ended it and stuck to it for both of our sakes. And she was probably right about that. But it still stings. I fluctuate between being relieved I'm single and being bitter we couldn't fix this when the issues seem so obvious in hindsight. Not the a-hole. She says she's taken ownership of her part in the failed marriage, but she obviously hasn't. She hasn't acknowledged what years of emotional neglect can do to a person. She doesn't get the pain involved. Protect your peace, brother. Be civil and cooperative for the kiddo, but you don't need to be friends. She's just trying to soothe her guilty conscience. You don't need to give her that. Forgive her for your own peace of mind, but that doesn't mean being friends. You don't owe her anything after what she did. I'm starting to think this as well. I do appreciate that she recognizes how comfortable she had gotten in our relationship, and she truly believes she stuck to the divorce for my benefit as much as her own. I can't fault the logic. But I think you're right, that the push to be my friend is actually driven by guilt. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad's soon-to-be ex-wife that she's never going to be able to make me or my brother feel responsible for her and dad's divorce? My brother, 19 male, and I, 21 female, lost our mom when we were 5 and 7. Dad met his wife when we were 9 and 7. They dated for a year before he mentioned introducing us, and he asked us how we felt about it. At the time, our reaction was that we didn't want a new mom. He reassured us that she would not be our new mom, but maybe our stepmom. We met her, got along okay with her, but weren't super fond or close. Dad kept talking to us, and we'd all spend time together. But we still didn't want her as our new mom, and when they got married when I was 12 and my brother was 10, it remained our stance, but we were okay with Dad being with her. The not our new mom thing came largely from school, where kids said that's what she'd be because we didn't have a mom anymore, and other adults framed it that way. It was really annoying. So Dad and she agreed that he would keep primary parenting responsibilities, and she would be there in a supporting role with us. Dad said it would allow us to get closer without her being hated for taking over and being the bad guy. She has since admitted that she genuinely believed we would eventually come to see her as our bonus mom and not a stepmom, that we would accept her as more and she would be one of the parents. She and my dad had 2 more kids together when we were teens, and things were good. We never got especially close to her. She never became the mom figure she wanted to be. Neither of us ever saw her as our parent, and when that reality became more clear to her was after my brother graduated. Because both of us had mentioned losing our mom as being a defining thing for us when we graduated. And we both thanked Dad for being an amazing dad and showing that one parent can do an awesome job and can still support their kids' education. We also thanked her, but not as a parent. We said she joined the family. My brother worded it a little differently than I did, but that was the sentiment. This was not what she liked hearing, and it caused fights between her and Dad. She told him we were selfish and ungrateful and spat in her face. Dad defended us and told her that we still shouted her out, and that this was where our relationships with her naturally went, and that was okay. She admitted it wasn't okay, and she had always expected that to change. She expected to be more mom than just a family member. She said the fact she gave us 2 siblings should have meant more than it did. Then she told Dad she wouldn't do it anymore, and she didn't want us around if she would just be family and not one of our parents. Dad said he'd choose us every time, and she filed for divorce. They have been in the middle of this divorce for almost a year now, and their final court date is approaching. I think that's why she made a point of trying to blame us when she saw us at Dad's recently. She said we must be happy and proud of ourselves that we ruined a marriage and family unit because we didn't want to replace our poor little dead mommy, and how all we really did was put her in the position to be the bad guy anyway. She told us she hoped our dead mom was worth her and my dad's happiness. I told her she could never make us feel responsible for the divorce. She said it shows just how uncaring we are about others. My dad made her leave and told her to never speak to us like that again. She started yelling that we clearly don't care about him. Dad reassured us, and I still don't feel responsible for the marriage ending. Neither does my brother. But am I the a-hole for saying what I did to her? It didn't do any good, honestly, which has left me wondering. Not the a-hole. You are not responsible for her unmet expectations. She set herself up for failure by expecting you to change your minds and feelings. She's also willing to harm her own 2 children over this. It seems like a convenient excuse to get divorced and blame her ex-husband's kids for it. If she were such a wonderful, loving mom, she wouldn't break up her own kids' nuclear family just because the 2 previous kids still considered their mom to be their mom. I really don't get people who think children will so willingly forget a much-loved parent. Nah, once she dropped the mask and started crapping on your mom, that was it for her. Seriously, poor little dead mommy? Trash. She spent years of her life hating and competing with a dead person she never even met.